Well, if you've been following the flag kerfuffle in Boise, then you know the mayor has refused to remove a pride flag from a pole on City Hall Plaza. Back on April 3rd, Governor Little signed House Bill 96, which meant government entities, that'd be state, county, cities, or towns, could no longer fly any flag other than, well, the U.S. flag, the state of Idaho flag, military flags, POW/MIA flag, maybe a school flag, or even a tribal flag. And that law went into effect immediately when he signed it. Almost just as immediately, people, mostly far-right conservatives, started pointing out the pride flag still flying outside Boise City Hall. Mayor McLean made it clear it wasn't coming down. Then this week, Mayor McLean received two letters, one from the state attorney general, the other from the Ada County sheriff. The strongly worded two-page letter from the AG admonished the mayor for not obeying the law. And the one from the sheriff said, well, this law should have been written better. Both law enforcement letters admit there's no way to enforce it. And perhaps that's why Mayor McLean told us today she's taking both of those letters into consideration.
For the time being, it was pretty clear this isn't a crime, and we're going to keep doing what we've done for a decade, and that is fly a flag that symbolizes our commitment to being a safe and welcoming city for everyone, that embraces diversity in each and every one of our residents. It says that unequivocally, and we will keep doing what we've always done.
You say it isn't a crime, but it is against the law.
There's a whole bunch of things that we're analyzing in those letters, and as I said before, we're going to keep flying the flags we've flown historically.
Government buildings should represent all Idahoans and not be used for political or social movements.
When this bill was going through the State House, did you talk to anybody about it? Did anybody talk to you about it? Anybody from the legislature?
I didn't have conversations about it. It was pretty clear in the testimony provided that this was about one flag.
What it seems like we're getting to is that there's just one flag that is objectionable, and that is that rainbow flag that we're seeing. The only photos I see, I don't see a Appeal to Heaven flag. All I see are rainbow flags.
And this is a time when I will continue to say that we've done this for a decade. Boiseans are proud of the symbol that this is for our community. We will keep doing what we've always done.
Do you think you have legal standing for that?
Somebody's got to decide that. I'm doing what I believe is right.
What did you think about the Attorney General's letter that you should follow the law just because that's what you should do?
You know, I really appreciate that. He also pointed out some other things with regard to the bill.
The last paragraph of the letter from Labrador does point out the lack of criminal or civil penalty in the law, but claims the mayor should comply out of a sense of duty to the oath of office. The letter from Ada County Sheriff Matt Clifford said, this new state code fails to tell me what the required penalties would be, nor does it lay out what kind of violation it would be. Sheriff Clifford also pointed out he can't just cite or arrest a government entity, since laws usually apply to people.
The sheriff's letter was pretty clear. There's nothing he could do. And I've been pretty clear that we're taking both these letters into account, and we'll keep flying the symbol of our commitment to our residents.
Question from the gentleman, 26.
And while there were a lot of questions in the State House,
so would CSI be able to maintain those international flags?
About what flag would be at risk?
Would those flags then be not able to be displayed at those celebrations?
Nobody asked about enforcement. We did ask Representative Heather Scott, the bill's sponsor, why an enforcement mechanism was not included in the bill. Her answer? There's a presumption the government will follow the law. If we had to write a penalty into law for every single direction we give to government, our code would be tens of thousands of pages. However, there was one other city mentioned during debate.
Would the city of Bonners Ferry be able to continue flying the Canadian flag?
Bonners Ferry
Senator Taves
is about 30 miles from the Canadian border.
It's a little bit of a gray area, to be honest.
And to welcome visitors from the Great White North, they've flown a maple leaf flag for decades, and they still do. Is the Canadian flag still flying outside City Hall?
It is, hey, it is still flying, yes. We still have it up.
Okay, great. One last question. Have you guys received any letters of complaints about it at all?
No, we have not.
Yet the city of Boise has. So if somebody said, can you put up a Don't Tread on Me flag? Would you consider that?
You know, I mean, that's really interesting discussion. But the answer is no, because we're flying flags that have been flown historically rather than new flags. Because it is an unequivocal statement of our commitment to being a safe and welcoming place for everybody.
When I asked Representative Scott today if this law would also apply to Bonners Ferry, well, there was no gray area for her. She simply said yes. The law does allow for another country's flag to be flown, but only to commemorate special occasions. Year-round obviously doesn't apply to that. Meanwhile, we learned today the Mexican flag that used to fly outside the Idaho Hispanic Community Center in Nampa, that was taken down on April 8th after they got one phone call. And the city of Parma continues to fly a blue line flag outside its police station. As for the organ donor flag, which was added last week outside Boise City Hall, Mayor McLean also points to precedent with that one since they flew it last year. In Labrador's letter, he said he suggested lawmakers put in strong enforcement tools for this law next session. For example, maybe denying tax revenues to entities that fail to comply. I asked Mayor McLean if she's worried about that. She told us she'll deal with it if it comes. Representative Scott pointed out today Idaho code about willful omission of a public duty being a misdemeanor and how that should be applied to this. But I guess that's up to law enforcement, who've already said, well, there's really nothing we can do. Sheriff Clifford also sent out a statement along with his letter to the city in which he ended it with these words: I strongly urge Idaho legislators to work closely with subject matter experts when drafting legislation, end quote, to avoid this problem of unenforceable laws in the future.